What's happening YouTube? Genji here, and welcome back to my playthrough of Foundry. It's been about a week since I last got into this. I took a little break to go check out some new games that were coming out on Steam, but it's time to hop back in and continue our progress through the tech tree. In the last episode, we unlocked oil processing and liquid processing in general now to mix into our manufacturing mix. We also unlocked the jetpack, which should help us get around the world map to unlock some of the new stuff that we're going to be getting into in this episode. So let's not delay it any further. Let's get on in and keep building. As you can see from the name of our save file, I did do some more post-episode building in this just to take care of some of the little housekeeping stuff that's really not interesting to look at on screen. The first of which you may notice is that I have completely cleared out our Technum, not only mining but processing. And if I hop over here, we'll see the first issue that we're going to have to tackle in today's episode, and that is that we are completely out of xenoferrite. It has all dried up. So we're going to have to travel way out into the map in order to find some new xenoferrite nodes, and that's going to present us a new challenge of moving products and materials over a long distance, which there's a solution to in the tech tree, but we're going to have to build up to it first. So we'll definitely get to that. Where do I want to begin? You may notice in the top right hand corner that our profit has gone dry, obviously because we have run out of xenoferrite ore, so we're no longer producing drones. So since our space station can only produce, or can only hold 10,000 thermalite, wow, I'm forgetting everything today, it's been too long since I was last in. We can only hold 10,000 thermalite on the station, and we pay for any manufacture or any storage above that. We're going to have to maybe hop in here first and get some passive construction going on our space station while we work in the background. So let's see where we left off. So we have 25 megawatts of overhead power. We have 175 construction materials available. So we're going to have to start probably by going to our spaceships or the galactic market. We're going to have to buy some more construction materials here. Let's just set that up quickly. We're going to buy our maximum amount with our ship. Get that running. And then over on the side here, we were looking for... We are trying to build towards accessing a nearby planet here on our planetary map in order to sell our mining drones for a better price. So we're going to need that upgraded for the antenna in order to reach into that market. So let's take a look at our station upgrades. And then we may also want to, after that's done, look at increasing our thermalite storage capacity, because this will continue to bleed down the longer we go without producing more drones to sell. So we'll get started with the antenna just so we don't get sidetracked from what we were already working on. So we're going to install a high power antenna here. Actually, we're not going to do that just yet because that's going to cost a little bit more than we have on hand. So we're going to wait for, well, let's see if we can get the thermalite storage in the meantime then. That's under thermalite vault. There we go. Vault extension 1. That requires, that's also more. We can't do anything right now. So I guess we're going to do nothing for 10 minutes while this works. And then maybe, I guess at some point we're gonna have to look into making some construction materials of our own. So that's on hold. In the meantime, we can take a look at this quickly, this building I just constructed around our fuel plant, which I have aptly called fuel plant. So nothing too fancy, just one of our regular aesthetic designs that we're using for just about everything else. We did throw some windows in here, some curved corners, just to make it look a bit more interesting than a box. So we do have everything in here that was previously in here, but I did add a second assembling unit here for, what is this? Portable fuel. So now we're producing jetpack fuel and portable fuel. I did end up having to increase our concrete production just because we have 2 yellow assemblers producing green science, and we were not producing nearly enough concrete to feed those 2 assemblers. So I tossed a second, what are these called? Smelting machines or casting machines? A second casting machine in here just to increase our concrete production. We left our raw material production kind of the way it was, except instead of coming straight into the casting machine, it now veers off to the left into 2 belts and then is picked up in the back here by the 2 casting machines. This is just the output of our rear casting machine. Don't look at that, it's not important. And yeah, I think that is... I'm trying to think. Oh, yes. These monstrosities here. So these are just me playing around with different concepts on vertical material storage. So this was kind of the early prototype that I was doing purely with belts. So it's just a bunch of tier 2 logistics containers stacked on top of each other with 2 parallel belts, one running up, the other running back down. They have a feed of technum ore right now, which is what we were trying to clear out the technum deposit here so we could pave over it essentially and put more manufacturing there. So the technum ore belt ran up this, and then once it hits the top one, it then comes back down again for the output side of this silo. And I thought, well, we could probably do something a little more space efficient with a elevator. And so this is the 2.0 version that uses a single elevator to bring the technum ore all the way to the top of the stack. Let me fly up here quickly. Since we have a jetpack now. So it brings the technum ore or whatever we're going to feed into it, because I'll probably create a silo system like this for all of our raw materials. So it brings it up to the top, outputs it into the top container, and then there's just a system of down-sloping belts that feed it into the next lower container. So it drops it down from the top and fills this whole stack up from the bottom up. And then at the very bottom is an output belt that makes the material in the bottom container available for us to actually pull out into our manufacturing line. So we're going to end up making one of these systems for... We'll probably end up moving this one to a appropriate location, but we'll also have another one for xenoferrite ore, and probably for ignium, and then I think there might be one more material. I'll have to look at the tech tree again, one that we have yet to unlock. So yeah, that's all the stuff that I played with off screen here. So now we can begin our hunt for a new source of xenoferrite ore and a means to bring it back to the base. So let's look at our tech tree. So there's going to be 2 sources of xenoferrite ore. One is we can find just natural deposits, just like the one that we had at the start of the game. They're small deposits. We can slap some ore miners on and export it into some sort of transport system. A really long conveyor belt if you really wanted to, but the next deposits are kind of far away, so it really wouldn't be efficient. So we do have in our tech tree here, where is it? And it's not too far away from where we are currently. We've got cargo shuttles, and cargo shuttles will allow us to place a pad at a remote location and a pad at our base and have a dropship basically pick up all of our xenoferrite ore and bring it back to base for us. So this is probably the route we're going to go once we get research up to this point. We also have access to, in this same tree behind yellow science, is this underground mining, and these are going to give us access to much larger, as far as I know, infinite sources of raw materials. So this is something that I want to attempt to get to by the end of this episode, get this set up, but that's kind of my game plan for right now. And then we also have purple science over here that unlocks long-range scanners for picking up farther away resource deposits. But a bit of a spoiler warning, once we got the jetpack, I've already jetted around and found some other resource nodes here, so we don't necessarily need the long-range scanner just yet. So let's go ahead and get research started towards our first objective, and that is the cargo shuttles, and that's going to be locked behind Science Pack 4, yellow science. So we're going to get that researching while we run around and do some other things. You may see up here that I also have solar panels available now, and those are going to be useful for our remote locations where we're going to be digging up xenoferrite or technum or whatever else and then shipping them back to base, so we don't have to run power poles all over the map. We do have some other energy related things here to research into, so batteries for storage at night when the sun goes down and some larger solar panels. So there's plenty for us to look at, but I think we kind of have our path chosen for today. We're going to look into cargo shuttles, get that research and set up, and then underground mining, and then whatever else we get to, we get to. But while that's going, let's find something else to do. All right, so while we're kind of waiting for passive things to tick down here, the reason that we wanted to expand this assembly line backward is that I wanted to move all of our first order materials to this location on the left side of the assembly line. So that's smelting plates, smelting rods, and then smelting steel beams. So we're going to set that up kind of farther back this way. I don't know how many other things we're going to want to stick in between here and our main assembly line. As at some point we're going to have to stick glass in there, and a few other little things, but that can happen further down the line if necessary, because that's mineral rock. But for right here, we definitely want to have plate smelting, which is going to involve a line of crushers and a line of smelters. We're going to want to have rod smelting, which is again going to be a line of crushers and a line of smelters, and then steel smelting, which is going to require crushers and smelters. So those are going to go here, here, and here. I don't know exactly if this is enough. I guess since we know we're going to need 3 rows, we have to start here with the iron or the steel beams, and then work back towards back to the steel plates. So yeah, we'll do that. So 1, 2, 3. So this is going to be kind of our through way for our between assembly lines here. So something like this will be where, I don't know if we'll necessarily have a catwalk over this, but this is just a visual marker for me. So I do have all of the ones that I broke down here with me. So we'll start with a line of crushers here for, this is going to be our steel line. So this is going to be crushing ignium and xenoferrite in order to smelt steel beams. So we do need crushers, and those are here. And if I remember correctly, we did not have the appropriate, we didn't have the optimal setup for steel. I think we just kind of threw a couple of crushers in just to get steel production going, but it was definitely not the ideal, like this is how you maximize the amount of steel production that you can get out of a single line. So we'll see if we can get that set up. All right, no, I need to move this forward. Okay, so this is going to be our elevator line, although we don't necessarily need elevators to get this onto the first 3 lines here, but we're just going to keep everything actually parallel. So these actually need to get moved way, way back. To right here. And then forward to here. So these are going to be our crushers. And then our line of xenoferrite is going to come in somewhere around here. We're going to need 2 lines. We're going to need one for xenoferrite. And we're going to need one for ignium. And then we're going to have crushers crushing those together into xenoferrite ignium blend, I think is the name of it. And then that's going to spit it out into a further line that's then going to go to the smelters. And then from the smelters, we're going to have a return line of our finished steel plates going back up onto our production line here. So let's cut these here, which I think is the starting line for conveyor belts in our assembly line here. So we're going to need a first and second lane loader for, where is metallurgy? So we're going to need xenoferrite ignium ore blend. And then the output content is going to go onto a third lane loader. Oh yeah. Yes, this was, we did have to do something special here because of it, these only being 2 wide and having to deal with 3 different materials. So what we'll probably do is move these back by 3. Is that right? So basically we'll have 2 lanes in the back here like we had before, like coming like this. So let's get our lanes lined up here. So this is going to go here. This is going to go here. This is going to be first and second lane loading. And then out of the front, we'll have, again, first and second lane. We'll have a first lane loader to go backwards. So these will actually go backwards to our smelters. And then from our smelters, we'll do second lane loaders and bring our output back forward again like this. Yeah, I think that'll work. And then right here, we'll have our normal container for steel beams. And we will actually, now that I think about it, we will be using the catwalk because we will need to get up to our container here. And then steel, technically we are using elevators for anything above the second line. So we will actually have an elevator here to go up to the third line. So that all works out perfectly. So we will just need to extend our assembly platform back a bit because we're going to have more crushers and we're going to have more smelters further back here. But that's why this is laid out the way it is, because we can extend infinitely in this direction. All we have to do is get some explosives involved. So let me pave out some more land here for us to put our smelters on, and then we'll meet back up. Okay, that should be enough for right now. Just a little bit back. So let's set these back up for xenoferrite ignium ore blend. Okay, and then these are actually going to be outputs on this side. And these are consuming 80 and producing 20. And there's our Science Pack 4. So we're also going to have to get production for Science Pack 4 set up, which means we're going to need to start producing alumic acid in order to create energy cells. So that is one more production line we're going to have to get set up in this episode. But we can't do anything until we get xenoferrite back online. So we'll worry about that in a minute. But if that's done, that means that our galactic trade deal has been completed. So let's go ahead and set up one more while we're building so that we have materials to conduct our upgrades. We're going to go to the galactic market. We're going to create a new trade. We're going to buy 100, and then we're going to send our cargo ship to go take care of that. So that'll give us 300, almost 400. We'll continue working here. So we're producing 20 per minute here, and our smelters, which are here. I see smelter small. I assume that would imply that there's a smelter large. We stick this just somewhere back here just to look at our numbers. That's manage inventory. We're going to be... it won't actually tell us what it is. Well, I guess we could look here, maybe? Is metallurgy... No. We can't look at it here. Oh, no, we can. Metallurgy. There we go. So... steel beams. It doesn't tell us how many it consumes. So we're going to have to get some... We're going to have to get our raw components here in order to even see how much we're going to need in order to optimize this line. So let's make space for 4 smelters. I'm sorry, 4 crushers. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we can do however many smelters we need in order to run 4 crushers on this line. And then in the meantime, in order to feed our need for xenoferrite, I do have a temporary solution that I will show you, but before I get to that point, I do need to feed some ignium into this line as well. So I'm going to redirect that line, which I think runs directly under this belt, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, I can see it right there. So that ignium line right there actually feeds our power plant, and we can tap into it since we're no longer using it for steel production here. In fact, I can break down all of our lines here. Oh, here we go. Actually, oh, that's lucky. So, okay. So the smelters, when producing steel, will actually consume 10 per minute. So you need 2 smelters to run each crusher. That's good to know. Yes, that's right, BB. So if we're running 8 smelters, which will saturate a red line, then we need 4 crushers. So, perfect. Okay, so let me redirect this ignium line and get this onto one of our input belts here, and then I'll show you our temporary measure for xenoferrite, and then we will get our other 2 lines up and running. So I'm going to start digging. Okay, so if I switch this to an output here, there's our ignium. I just do a conveyor splitter down there, conveyor balancer, and use an elevator to bring it up a couple of levels and then output it here. Nothing crazy there. We're going to do the same with our xenoferrite. We're going to run that actually under the bus, our main bus here. So we'll also bring our xenoferrite when we get it loaded into a bus here. And then this one is going to be our top to bring this back up to level 3 to get it onto steel when we get our steel output coming back this way. I just realized this whole thing needs to actually move back because we need 1 level here to get stairs up, unless I just intrude on this. I guess it's not the end of the world if it's not perfectly 2 spaces wide, but at any rate. So let me show you our temporary measure for xenoferrite. So I'm going to first clear some of my inventory out here. So we're going to take to the skies and enjoy a nice little flight with our new jetpack. We hope you enjoyed today's ride on Genji Airlines. Cruising at an altitude of around 700 feet. And so as we fly over here, we have a bit of a preview of something we'll be tapping into later. This is a unknown resource node slightly north of our base. Along with a second one right at the mouth of the river, not too far to the northwest of that one. And here we are, we're going to begin our descent. And you may see we already have some construction set up here. And this is just another xenoferrite node here. If I scan it, it's nothing particularly crazy. Maybe it's a bit bigger than our initial node, but it is definitely not going to provide us with an infinite... Oh, there's another one right there. With an infinite amount of xenoferrite. So I temporarily have this set up on a burner, and this is just giving us a bunch of xenoferrite that I can bring back to base and stick temporarily into a container just to keep feeding our need for raw materials for production. So I'm going to load up on as much of this as I can carry, and we're going to fly on back to base. I do like that each biome has its own environmental noises, ambient noises that get layered on top of the music. So as we passed out of the forest into the mountains, all the chittering and bird noises kind of died down. But now that we're back at base, we can temporarily set up a container with our xenoferrite. Maybe we'll go ahead and tap it into our potential permanent xenoferrite line running this way underneath our bus here. That way we can, when it comes time to actually tie our permanent source of xenoferrite, and we don't have to do a bunch of reconstruction. So let me get back down underneath this line, and we'll get the container set up over here somewhere with our xenoferrite and run it this way. So I'll see you in a few more minutes. Okay, so we're going to start putting our silos down, and I just wanted to look at how this is actually constructed so I can space this out over there. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tiles wide, and the left 2 of this and the right 1 are add-ons to the actual main structure of the silo, which is the logistics containers. So basically the width of one lengthwise loader, and then on this side, I guess technically we have one sticking out all the way up there, but it's not going to be on ground level, so it doesn't really matter for us too much. And then depth-wise doesn't matter because we have an infinite depth, as much depth as we need, as long as we set it back far enough. So I've laid this out here. I pushed our silo down as far as I think we're gonna need to have 3 of these silos here, plus our smelting facilities. And so we've got, just to space things out, here's our left 2, then the width of our logistics container, and then our right 1. So this should be enough distance here for us to begin constructing our silo here. Although technically right now we're just going to have a single logistics container, but then we'll start stacking this up as we get xenoferrite coming in, and then we'll build our loader and then our freight elevator behind it here, which is how we have this set up right here. So the freight elevators are butted up right up against the back of the logistics container, and they just bring it all the way to the top, and then everything else is in service of bringing the materials back down again. So we have a column of building blocks for powering our loaders on both sides. One for the logistics, the loader that brings the materials out of the elevator and into the logistics container on top. And then around the side here, one output loader for each of the logistics container to bring it into the next lower container. So that should be enough of a footprint for our xenoferrite. We're going to put our current load of xenoferrite into here. We've actually maxed this one out, so we will actually need a second one, so we can begin our vertical storage silo for xenoferrite. We're going to put this on top. And we'll load the extra xenoferrite into here. We don't have any coming in yet, so we don't need the intake elevator, but we will need our output loader to bring the materials down. And if I remember correct, well, I'm just gonna look. So the main column on the right-hand side is actually one square past our logistics container here. So these are gonna go here, and they're going to bring power up. Oop, put that in the wrong spot. And then they're gonna wrap around the side to power that loader, which is going to go down this direction, connect to this, and this, then wrap around, and then go down one more. And that can be loaded into the bottom with an intake loader. And that's basically the whole pattern. So that just gets repeated up and up and up and up and up and up. And then on the backside, we get the freight elevator that brings the materials up the top container, and then everything else cascades back down from there. So the only thing that we need from here is an output. I guess it's gonna have to go here, which actually misaligns it with our elevator by 1, but it's not a huge deal since we don't have the bottom of that set yet. So we'll just move it over by 1, and I think that gets lined up on this right here. So like that. That brings it right into the center. We'll have one other loader here. And that can go like that. And this container here, I believe, is lined up with our other logistics containers, so our silo is at least in line with our current storage. Yeah. Okay. I was like, how do we squeeze the catwalk in there? But it's because that space with the catwalk is actually being taken up by our 2 kissing loaders here. Yeah, so that's fine. So this will be our xenoferrite tower. So now I'm going to dig under this, bring this back out of the elevator and onto a line that goes this way. So let me get digging again. Okay, so our ticket's complete here, so I'll just show you what we've done. So from this elevator, we're just going to send it down under our main assembly line here. We have a output loader here that's throwing it onto a conveyor balancer that's sticking it onto a line that runs underneath our Ignum line. We will have to do a little cleaning up here because we do still have some remnants of our Technum node here that I have some underground miners are currently trying to clear the rest of. So we'll come back and we'll move these 2 lines up parallel so they don't have to dip under this anymore. But for right now, this works. And then this just comes back up, and then here we have another balancer that's splitting off of this line into a loader that's going to bring the xenoferrite ore up to our crushers. So if we go back, all I have to do is flip one of these loaders to be an output. And we should have xenoferrite flowing on this node here. Boop. We're all along this line. There goes our elevators. There goes our ore, which should be being balanced. I guess we could put our output priority onto that side, but since there's nothing here, it's not really going to matter. So that's going to flow over. We'll patch this up. 1, 2, 3. And then we should see some xenoferrite ore, once I set this to output, should be spat out. There's the first, and then there's the rest coming along. Not sure why it's happening in small spurts like that. There we go. Okay, so now we have our crushers fed. So these are going to begin crushing into xenoferrite ignium blend. And so we know that we have 4 crushers, so we're going to need 8 smelters in order to handle all of the production here. I believe those were the ratios. So let me, I put the smelters away, so I need to grab those quickly. In fact, while we're grabbing those, we can send out one more galactic trade request here. So we'll go to the galactic market, new trade, more construction materials, maximum amount, select and send. And then in the meantime, since we have 375 now, if we go to our station upgrades, antenna, we have enough for our antenna upgrades. Let's go ahead and get this started. And that will take care of the issue that we, well, not issue really, but the upgrade path we set off on in the last episode. And while that's running, we'll grab our extra crushers and smelters from here. I might as well just grab this extra xenoferrite and load this into our silo. Just to keep that moving along. And we can set up our smelters here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna need some more space here, so I'm gonna have to do a little digging. And by digging, I mean exploding. Alright, there we go. So where were we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we're going to bring our input line down. Oops. To, I guess we only have to go to, well, yeah, we'll do input and then output line. We're going to run back. And then each of these is going to need an input. And a second lane loader for output. And there we go. Steel beams are now flowing back to our elevator. And actually, we are going to want to bring this back a bit, because we do want to have our logistics container here for storing as a temporary buffer for steel beams. So we have a place to come and grab some. So we're going to copy our usual design here. We're going to stick a logistics container here. And we are going to need to bring this up a level. Run it along here and then do a loader and a loader, one for input, one for output. And so we should have steel beams beginning to accumulate here. And then we're going to come back down again. One more. And then he's going to go into our elevator in order to go up onto our steel beams line. And I think we might, no, we can squeeze through here. I just need to make sure we can actually get to this line from here. So if we go out here, 1, 2, we may need to move this catwalk. output. It's gonna go here and here. 6. Let's see if can this be squeezed right here. It looks like it might. It's the wrong color, but we do want to upgrade these all to yellow eventually. So if I put this here, and there we go. There's steel flowing onto our steel beams line. So what we'll want to do is remove our existing feed and transfer all of our beams into this container before it fills up. We've run out of space to put these extra beams. Okay. So we're going to delete these loaders and this elevator. And this loader. And then this load balancer. And we'll just continue our line. 9. We'll continue our line like so. There we go. So now we're going to repeat that for rods and for xenoferrite plates. But we do now need to run a second line for technum ore underneath our xenoferrite, but since we only need one material for each of those, it's going to be a lot less complicated than this line. This line is only like this because we have 2 input feeds here, so those lines are going to be a lot more compact. But before we get started on that, let's just finish this up because we do have to build a catwalk over this. So this is actually going to be moved forward. Let's see how tight we can press those ladders up against this. So we're going to need this here, and then that's going to have to go up and over, and we also need to bring this back this way. There we go. A little tighter than our usual build, but still completely passable. It's not that big of a deal. And then we just need our down ladders on this side. 1, 2. 1, 2. Perfect. Okay, so now we have our starting point for our next row. Well, since we do know how deep this is going to be now to feed crushers and smelters, yeah, we probably could have done this no, I'm not too worried about it. I was going to say we could have moved the smelters to the back of them and run them in a parallel line like this, but that would have just made this wider. And width is our limited resource, right? We have as much depth as we need, so there's really no downside to just putting them in line with our crushers because we can expand as much as we need to this way. But this way, we're going to eventually run into our power plant and into this mountain, so this is our prime real estate. So we want to make each of these assembly lines as narrow as possible. So we're going to repeat this for rods and for plates, and I just need to clear out this patch of land here to be just about as deep as this one is. So let me start blasting again. Beautiful. Alright, I had to take a small detour because I noticed that I did not set up the loaders on these last crushers here. So now we have inputs on the back, input loaders, we have output loaders in the front. So now all 4 of our crushers are running instead of just 1. So that should produce enough ignium blends for all of our smelters to be producing now, which they are. So we're going to have a ridiculous overproduction of steel, but that's fine because once we hit capacity on our storage here, they will just stop. So we're getting pretty close already. In fact, I will scoop some up for myself in the meantime. So yeah, now we've got some extra room here to work with, and I think, with the exception of maybe this little outcropping here, we'll have enough for our next row. So next we need to get our Technum line down because it's going to be next in line. So we're going to have plates, rods, steel, right? So we're going to need a line of Technum running underground for this next bit. So we're going to put down another silo here. So let's start laying this out. So we're going to need 7 wide, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So put a space of 2 here. So those will be my decor blocks. So space, space. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And if we paint these, we're going to have, there's our 2-space walkway between silos, and then we're going to have our 2-space of loaders on the left-hand side, and then this is going to be our 1, 2, 3, 4 for our container, and then 1 space for a loader on the right. So we'll clear this, we'll clear this, and we'll clear these 1, 2, 3, 4, so that we can put a logistics container here. Oh, we already have one. That's okay, because we'll definitely need a second and a third and a fourth, and we have so much Technum ore at the moment. We'll clear this, and I'm going to quickly recreate what we have here and move some of our existing Technum stores into this, because this will be the silo location for our Technum that's going to go into this line here. Okay, so here's our second silo now. This is for our Technum ore, so we will, I'll do this obviously off screen. This is going to be a bit of a project here, but I'll take all of these containers of Technum ore and then stack them all up here, so we have one gigantic silo for Technum ore. But it's just going to feed down into an elevator, down underground, into a third line that runs under our main resource bus, and it's just going to come over here into another elevator that brings it back up top, which connects to our new assembly line location here. So this is going to be for the new site of our production of Technum rods. So let's go ahead and drop down our crushers, which are here. Face them this way. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to need to load. We're going to need second lane loaders for input and then first lane loaders for output. So input, 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 input. These will all be crushing. Configure. We're going to be producing pure Technum ore. Like so, and then they're going to be outputting here, 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 and here. There we go. So now we have a line of pure Technum ore, and then we're going to put some smelters after that. I did put a gap in there, so we'll reproduce that here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Input, 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 input. Oop, we're not gonna have enough. Build me some more. There we go. So yeah, this should be maximally productive, and then we just need a second lane loader for each of these to spit the output back onto our belt. There go our rods. And we need a quick pair of loaders here, 1 in, 1 out, so that we can stockpile rods here. And then these are feeding back onto our belt in the normal spot. Rods are on row 2. And there we are. So let's move on to plates. You get the idea by now. I probably won't do a breakdown of plates. We'll just get it done. I'll show you the output, and then we can move on to making actual progress in this episode. So we get to that, and we'll be right back. Alright, so here's our xenoferrite flowing for the first time onto our new smelting, well, crushing and smelting line for xenoferrite plates. I'm not actually sure why it's coming in like 4 xenoferrite bursts. Oh, actually I do know why. I think because there's a splitter down here, so half it's being split onto the regular line and half it's being split. Yeah, because the rest of that goes down to the steel production line. Let's cover this up. Okay, yeah, so we know what's on with that. So as soon as that steel saturation line fills up, it'll back up into this line here. So we now have plate production back online. Plates are flowing into here, but they're immediately flowing back out again. So those are going onto our line, and as soon as that backs up, like so, we will get this backing up, and then they should start building up right here. Yep, okay, perfect. So we'll get rid of... Well, I'll leave this in place for now, just because we don't have a permanent source of xenoferrite yet, so we will actually need our backup supply of plates. So we'll leave that in line for right now, but this is as much as I want to do on our assembly line for right now. So with that done, let's get back. Well, let's do a couple of things. First, let's check on our space station one last time. We need to send one more galactic market order for construction materials. Send that off, and then that'll give us what we need to build station upgrades, unless we already have it. Let me double check here. Our Permalite Vault extension number 1. That only increases it by 10,000. I don't know exactly how useful that is to us, because we've got, what, 69,000? So for us to, this even makes sense, we need this to be like Vault Extension 3. So, that said, what can we do with the 275 that we have right now? We can upgrade solar panels. That's always useful. Spaceship hangar. It's going to give us additional hangar space, which would be useful for having larger ships. Docking facilities. Small cargo ship T2, and then we can get up to a medium cargo ship. Aha. We have lots of options now. Communications center, build administrative office. Managing planetary trade licenses. We need to establish administrative offices. That gives us additional trade licenses. Oh, that was unlocked by us building the antenna, so let's go ahead and build this and see what it does. If nothing else, it'll put a new piece onto the space station here, which I noticed has been actually dynamically improved itself as we've been putting things onto it. So I assume our solar panels will build out this way, and our cargo will build out this way, and so on and so forth. So we do have one section back here that's still busted up. I'm not sure what that is, but hopefully the administrative offices put some new piece onto our station here. So that's building. So the next thing that we're going to have to do is get yellow science production underway, which means that we're going to have to get energy cell production automated. So let's look into this. We're going to need xenoferrite plates, which we have, although we are going to have to manually feed our xenoferrite ore for now. Electronics components, we have glass. We have some. We don't have the production of glass built into our assembly line, so at the moment we're going to have to just run a belt, I suppose. We're going to need a couple of things. We're going to need to get what is it called? Mineral rock. We're going to need to get mineral rock into our assembly line area. We do still have a stockpile there, and I think there's actually one a bit closer to our assembly line. Oh no, it's way out there, although it's probably bigger than what we have down here. This is 18 by 14 by 18. This is 24 by 20 by 14, so I'm not exactly sure. But we have some nearby, so we need to get this. Need to get glass production to our assembly line. Let's see how much we have stockpiled right now. Do we have at least a full? We have a full container, so we can at least move this over enough to get to feed our need for glass at the moment. But alumic acid is going to be the new contender here, the new player in the field. So let's see, this is going to require ignium powder, alumite gas, and water. So water is the only thing that we currently have. We create ignium powder by crushing ignium in a crusher. So this is going to need its own facility because this is going to be done in a chemical processor. So we'll have to build another building like next to some of our existing oil facilities here out in this wing of town. So maybe like right here between our concrete plant and our polymer board plant. Yeah. So the only issue is the ignium powder. So we're also going to have to feed a line of ignium here and then make room for crushing it and feeding it into our where are we at? Our chemical processor. Let's make a chemical processor. Let's check our widths. Chemical processor is here. So we're gonna face it this way. So we have enough width to build a building around this. So let's go ahead and pave this with construction blocks, or building blocks even. Okay, so now we have a little plateau to work with here. So let's slap down our chemical processor. I'm gonna put this as close to evenly in the middle as we can here. And then we'll move it back a bit, because we do have to squeeze some things in behind it here. And we're going to set this to, no power. So let's just make a doorway here. Core, give me a double wide. We've got 4 on that side, 4 on that side. Perfectly balanced. Alright, so that means we can put our kind of entry pathway here. That's going to bring power onto this slab. And now we can configure this for alumic acid. So this is going to have 2 fluid inputs, gas and liquid. So it's going to be on... Oh, they're on the front. Interesting. And then our output of alumic acid is in the back. So we need to get alumite gas in here. Let's see, is that one of the fluids that we set up production for in here? So this is creating liquid polymer. This is creating low density alumite. And this, I think we set this up to be available for alumite gas. So this is off to the races already. So good job past us for getting us set up for success here. And there we go. So this is going to be pumping somewhere. I don't know where this is going exactly. Oh, it's just going to the end of the... There's just a dangling pipe there, so we do need to create a tank for that to go into. Let's just double check here. Yeah, so that's just dangling there. So we're going to have to send this down and back so that it'll go into a tank. Yeah, so we can do that here. And then we're going to tee this off here. Not like that, but like this. And then one will go back to go into our reservoir tank, and then one will go forward to go to our new production facility over here. So I need to get behind this wall. I'm not sure which side is going to be easy to do that from. I guess we could go actually up top and then dig down. So we want to create a tank. We want to line it up right here, this, and then it's going to come up here. So then we did dig down here. Nice and easy, there's our pipe. Let's just bring it forward. Curve up. Go straight up, and then turn that away. And there we go. There's our reservoir for all you might gas. And now we need to bring this over to this facility here. There we go. So that's flowing out. Let's get back up top. Gonna patch some holes here. Put this back in. Slap down some dirt. It's too much. There we go. Like we were never here. So now, I'm not sure where I want to put our basement access in, but for right now, I'll just dig down here. Because we have underneath a blasted out area, which is going to contain our all you might guess here. And we need to get this over to the front of our chemical processor. So I think I might actually move this back. I don't think we need quite that much room to produce ignium gas, or crushed ignium powder even. So this can go here. Not sure how we want to. I guess that's good enough. So let's set this back to alumic acid so we can see where our inputs are. Oh, right, we also need a water pipe, which is fine because I think we have water right next door here, so we can tee off of that. So we're gonna need a pipe. How do we want to do this? I don't want to go directly up and then in front of the panel here. So I might do here and here, and then bring these up like that. Where's my pipes at here? Bring them up like this. Like so. And then we can still access our panel here. And then we're going to need to bring around back here. Bring this back down into the basement. And then we'll have one turned piece here, like so. And then we'll also need to be crushing some ignium here. So we're gonna have to we're gonna tee off one of our ignium lines over that way and bring it over to this building. But first, let's get our alumic gas line hooked up here just to get one of our ingredients set. And that's going to be the inner line. Okay, so I cleaned the basement up a bit. I'm just going to bring this down. Actually, you know what? I'm going to run along the ceiling, so let's make this a curved piece like this. And then we'll run it straight back. To here. Apparently I did not need enough. Get out of my way. Alright, copy this, turn it this way. I'm going to turn you upwards. See, if this is this, I need to bring this forward. No, that's actually perfect because there'll be a wall kind of here. Like this. This will be the actual wall of our finished basement. So we'll curve this up. Uh-oh, finally ran out of pipes. All right, we'll temporarily make some because I have an abundance of steel at the moment, but we do have a whole lot on our assembly line, so I don't want to overproduce them here in my pocket. So you need to turn this way, and the rest of these can be straight on. Like so. So there's our olumic acid flowing into our chemical processor. So now we need to grab some water from next door. Let's get it back up here and see what the basement of this building looks like again. Okay, I actually didn't have to do much digging at all, because I remembered while I was down there that I left myself an extra water pipe that was headed back into the main base in case we needed to bring water into the main base for any reason in the future, which now we do. So there is just a pipe end here that has water in it. So we're going to copy this and just bring it forward into the basement of our new facility here. I think that's connected, yeah. And then we'll tee this off so that we can continue this forward in the future. And then we're just going to bring this way. That works. Okay, and now we're in the basement here. So we need to get this up and over here. So we're actually gonna, uh-oh. We've gone too far. So we need to put a pump in, which is not the end of the world. So we put a pump at the beginning of the pipe network there, which is actually useless because, as we later learned, something keeps... I have like a phantom button press that keeps happening that keeps pulling up my building blocks. I'm not sure why. What was I saying? The pump we put here at the beginning is actually useless because the pump splits the pipe network into two networks in front of and behind the pipe network, and the pipe network behind the pump is actually one pipe going into the collector. So we could actually get rid of this and directly connect these buttons. Always perplex me. I want like this. So we can leave this all in one piece. We actually don't even need this here, but we'll leave it because it doesn't really affect anything. As far as I know, I don't think there's any loss for having them on the network in general. But what we'll do is when we get into the basement of the power plant, we will put a pump in here. Say right here on the output side of this. Rotate. Okay, so now we are repumping our pipe network. So if we analyze this, oh, is it V? It's V. Left mouse button. There we go. So now we're at 135 of 300 and 170 of 300. Throughput capacity was exceeded. That's fine. Modified 24 seconds ago. That's fine. We know about that. So there. Let's get out of here because it's very noisy around these turbines. Actually, let's look at, since we're standing next to it. Oh yeah, this is one more thing I did during the off-screen recording between episodes. I had to upgrade this transformer for the main base area to a larger transformer because we were exceeding the 5 gigawatt limit. So each one of these tier 1 transformers has a 5 megawatt limit for what it can pull down from the high voltage grid. and we were exceeding that, so we're actually, well, it's not that big at the moment. I guess because half of our assembly line is shut down because of our xenoferrite starvation. But yeah, we were exceeding that 5 megawatt limit, so I had to upgrade this to a tier 2 transformer, or a large transformer, and that gives us 5 times the energy throughput. And our production, we're floating under half at the moment. We'll see what happens when we get the full assembly line spun back up again. I think at the moment most of the base is kind of is paralyzed by resource deprivation. So we should, unless I forgot to connect it, we should have water coming through here. No, we did not. Where is my hole? We brought it in, I never actually connected it because we hit a limit. So we're gonna go up. Actually have more basement here, but I don't think we're gonna need the extra room up in the front of this. That's just our walkway. So we're gonna take this, go up, or not our walkway, but just like the empty space in the room for us to walk into when we come into the base. And I guess we'll rotate it like this. And we can bring this back this way. We want to grab this and go this way. And then we just need our straight pieces. So let's rotate this like this, and then like this, so we can see the water. And now we've got water flowing. Our 2 blue liquids. There we go. We have water coming into our water port. We have alumite gas coming into our gas port. We just need now to set up a ignium line and a crusher, which I thought we actually had an extra crusher. Let me check our storage box. We do. So if we dump this in here, start with 1, I guess. We'll face this outward so that it's looking at us as we approach the back of the room here. I don't know how much this is going to produce. 60 units per minute. And this is going to consume 120 per minute. So we actually need 2 crushers running. This is going to be a lot of ignium. Wow. So 2 crushers to feed this hungry girl. And then we'll put a loader here. And then 2 export loaders in the back. And run it through like this. Makes sense. And then we just need to bring a line, we need an input line, so we'll do 2nd lane loaders. And I kind of want to bring it up here and run it this way in case we need to add 2 more for a 2nd processor at some point in the future. So we run it like this. And then we come up this way. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This would go here, and then a small turn. That way this whole belt is facing back towards where the ignium is going to be coming from anyway. And I don't know how deep we're going to have to bury this. I don't know what all we're going to impact going this way. I can already see some lines here, but a lot of these are just old lines that I never dug up and deleted. So let's take a look up top again. So if we're going this way, our ignium line is right here. There it is again. Something keeps bringing up my building blocks. Well, let's just start digging and see what we hit, I guess. We just go in a straight line, we'll eventually hit the ignium line. Here. here it comes. So let's just patch our hole here a bit. And I can already hear it working. But yeah, so this should finish our inputs into our assembly line here, or our assembly building. So here's our crushed ignium powder or dust. No building. What do you think you're touching here? Is this not a... It's not an input. Oh no. Oopsie. Didn't even notice that. Easy enough to fix. And let's quickly get this in here so I don't have to carry it in my inventory. Alright, so we're producing alumic acid. And so now we just need a tank to store the output in. So we're going down into the basement. And so this is our walk around side. So we're gonna leave this open and we're gonna put a tank here. So let me build a tank. I always forget how big these things are. This is gonna be our external wall here, so like this, and our wall's gonna be here. So we can squeeze through here if need be. And we'll bust this down. Of course it is. Of course it is. All right, let me redirect this pipe, and then we'll reconvene. Wait a minute. I didn't even face the screen. I didn't face the screen the right way anyway. Not that it's going to change after we work those pipes, but you want it to look like this. All right, I'm going in. There we go. Linked up. Nothing too crazy. So let's get back up top. Yeah, this stuff is just feeding straight into here. Oh, never mind, it backed up finally. I thought it was just eating it at full speed. Alright, so our alumic acid is filling up. So now we're going to have to use this alumic acid in the creation of energy cells, which are done in a fluid assembler. So this needs to go back onto our assembly line because that's where we have our plates, electronics components, glass eventually, and soon our alumic acid pipeline. So we need to take an out. Well, we'll probably just tee this off and continue taking this way to our assembly line. So we'll go here and then we'll turn right and we'll feed this all the way down to the end. So we're going to need to blast some more land here to make room for more assembly lines. And then we're going to need... Maybe I do grab a mineral rock line. I don't know. This might actually be closer. This is probably more of this left, but this is going to be a much closer run, I think. So we'll need to get a mineral rock line coming out this way, so we'll have to have just a small assembly piece for glass creation, and then another line for creation of energy cells, and then another line for the creation of yellow science. So, with that in mind, let's get blasting. Alright, that looks like a usable area. We'll see how much of that gets used up, or if we have to go a little further, but we can at least get started. So first thing that we want to do is, I guess, get glass production. So let me tap into this line, and I guess we're just gonna bring it, I don't know if I want to bring it under our, put a fourth line under our assembly line. That's probably gonna be the easiest way to do it, right? Because we already have most of this dug out. So it'll save us some digging. So let me get over to where we're pulling up our mineral rock, and then we'll extend a new line to our assembly line. Okay, that was a slog, let me tell you, but I think the path is clear now, so let's see if we have even enough conveyor to get us over there. Well, if we're at 100 already, I'm gonna guess not. So we have to go to right about, I don't know, here-ish. And then we just start going down to get under this line, and this is gonna take us all the way down under the entirety of our assembly line. But I am gonna need to pop back up briefly in order to get some more conveyor. So let me hop up here and dig ourselves to freedom. Ah, let me out. Ah, the sun. Which I have out eternally now. I turned off the day-night cycle just because I was tired of having to keep switching the light on to work at night and then turn it back off to work in day. It's neat. I'll turn it back on eventually, the day-night cycle, but for right now, I just want to build in the daylight. So let's get some more conveyor, and let's get rid of some of this extra dirt that's just cluttering up our inventory here. That should be okay for now. So let's get back underground. I'm going in. Trying to go in. There we go. Alright, so we're going to go to here. And then go down. And then go down. And we need to get this under our xenoferrite line. Or I guess our technum line is actually the lowest. So we'll go under our technum line, which is here. We need to go down one more time. That should get us on the right level. Now we can continue this way. We're gonna have to walk ahead of it. We're gonna have to lead it. Otherwise, we're gonna get trapped. And I'm not sure exactly where we need to stop. We'll stop right here for now. And that is probably right in the close-ish spot. There's our assembly line for glass. It's going to be pretty narrow. It's going to be right here. So, yeah, I think that's pretty damn close. Let's dig this out. And then let's figure out where our pieces are going to fall. So we're going to need another set of, we already have them, elevators. So to locate these, we're going to go back to our walkway technique. So let's make a bunch of extra walkway here, which you're going to need anyway. So we're going to go 1, 2, and then this is going to go this way, and these 1, 2 will be our underpass under the conveyor belts here. Oh, how'd that happen? Oh, because this counts as a whole block here. So up, up. So this will be our conveyor, our input line here, which will just bring this deep. And then our elevator, based on that conveyor belt location, will be we can put it. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll center it. That works, because then that's also centered between here, because these two will be our walkway to go under here. So that's all fine. So this will actually go out one more and have a output loader here. And I actually did this backwards. This is going to be the top. Like so. There we go. And we'll let the elevator dig the rest. Bottom. Beautiful. And then we just need a... building... nope, that's not gonna work. We need to go back one more. To here. There we go. Like so. Then we can interrupt this line here. 1, 2. Balancer. Loader. There's our mineral rock raising up onto the production floor, the assembly floor. So now we can actually do something with this. So we're going to want to put in our usual blocks here. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 for the logistics container, and then 1, 2 for the loader and for the conveyor line right here. This is going to be a conveyor line running this way. Ramp, ramp. Loader, loader. In and out. And then we're going to put our crushers, which are here, facing this way. And if we push these forward, we can do the input and output on the back side. Oh, I guess we only had one. Well, let's see how much we actually need. So 8, well, 7 technically. We're going to take our second lane loader as our input, and then our first lane loader as our output. Run this way. Output. We'll set this to make gravel. And we're going to stick all this extra gravel we had grabbed from the other smelter, from the other crusher. Let that fill up. And then to turn this into glass, I think we just need a smelter. I don't know how much glass we're actually going to need. Let's do 2 and 2. So this produces 30 gravel a minute. And this is going to consume 12 a minute. That's a... Oh no, it's consuming 60. Okay, so we need 2 crushers to produce enough gravel to run 1 smelter. Let's go ahead and dump this in here. Configure this for gravel as well, and do our loaders in the back. And this is going to need an output, which is going to run this way. And this should start loading glass. Oh, output. Output. There we go. And this should start loading glass into our logistics container. So what we're going to do in the meantime is we're going to take some of the glass that we already have built up and fill up that logistics container. Squeeze as much as we can in there. Alright, so with that done, we're going to extend our resource bus this way as much as we can. And our last row for now. Oops. There. Look at all the beautiful resources, an entire wall of them. Okay, so now we're going to need to create another new row on top of that to run our glass on. Let's get another set of elevators going. Let's get rid of these extra ramps. There we go. And 2 freight elevators. We're out of plates again. And then 2 freight elevator 2s. We'll line this up with the center here. Put it at the right depth. Out 1. Input. You need a top. We're going all the way up to a new row here. So not here, but here. This is going to go out here. Need to put a foundation under it. But for now, I just want to work out where this is going to land. Like so. We'll make this an output, and then we have to bring a foundation all the way up to it. Like so. And there's our glass flowing onto our resource bus. Perfect. So that's glass production down. So now we need... That's everything. Well, we need to bring the alumic acid over here, but that's all of our resources that we need in production, automated. So let me get back down under here, and now we're going to need to run pipes. I'm going to need another batch of pipes off of our, or out of our container for it, because this is going to be a long pipe run. We're probably going to have to add a pump onto it as well at some point. Pipes. But I guess we'll start from the far end and send it this way. So I'll meet up with you again here in a few minutes when it's ready to pop back up into our assembly line. Green light. There we go. So we do end up having to pump it. We reached our complexity limit for this stretch of pipe going all the way back to the production. And we are almost here, so we're just going to continue this way. $38. And we're going to go basically to where this ends, this tunnel. And this is going to pop us out right at about where our new assembly line, or our production line is going to be. I don't know exactly how deep this is going to end up, but we have it down here somewhere at least. So to figure that out, let's get over on this side. Okay, so let's space this out. This is going to be here. A ladder up, which means our input line is going to be right here. And just so I remember, we're creating energy cells. So those are going to be done in fluid assemblers, I believe. Let's take a look. Components, energy cells, yes, and fluid assemblers. So we're going to need at least one of these. Let's build one. And based on where this line is, we know that our logistics container is going to be here. So that's 2x4 plus 2 more. Logistics container is going to go here. Load, unload. Belt, belt. Ramp. Ramp. And so our fluid assembler is going to go in between these two. Let's face it this way. Configure, so we're going to be making energy cells. So we're going to need, we need a lot of different lines here. We need 3 input lines, a pipeline, and an output line. So this may be our most complex assembly yet. Maybe? We had something that was similarly large. We had this one, which was 4 in, 1 out, although this was 4 belts. This is going to be 3 belts and 1 pipe. So we actually do need to move this over a bunch. So take this out, take this out. So let's take all of this out. All of this and up. Because we need 3 lines. 1, 2, 3. And that's for... right here. That's for xenoferrite plates, electronics components, and glass. That's these 3 lines. We can put our blocks back down here. Output. There we go. So our output is just going to be a single line like this because it's just a 1-piece output. And we don't need a second line here for a 4th belt input because our fluid is going to be coming in from here. So we're going to need, I guess, a T. No, we're going to have to go, oh. Yeah, it's fine. We have to go in 1 and then a T. Like that. So we can extend this way if we need to. For right now, we'll bring this back this way. And then we'll need to figure out how we're going to make this work. Because we're going to have this passing over the top. Like this. And then going up, over, oop, we're out. And then down. And so we want to be able to walk through here without bonking our head on this. So this is going to have to curve up. Is that going to be enough? Yep, perfect. Okay. So then we'll bring it back down again. And then we need to place this around elevators. So I'm gonna hold off on this right here. Let's get our elevators placed. We're gonna need... what are we missing? We're short on something here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so our elevators are going to look like this. 1, 2, 3. Actually, no, because one of them is plates. We do not need an elevator for. So we're going to, yeah, we'll just tee off of this, or balancer off of this. Like so, and then rotate you straight through. And then the next piece is electronics components. So those come from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, row 7. Should be right here. And then we'll put a loader on the back. belt. Delete 2. Oops. In the meantime, while those are building, we can go ahead and just continue. So that's going to bring those into our loader, but then we need to bring power to the loader itself. Like so. Here they come. And then we need to get them out of the elevator and onto a belt. There we go. So now we have 2 components. This is going to have to go away because this is going to come out this way. And then turn into... Well, you know what? Let's do it this way. Because this will give us a spot to bring this down through the ground. So we can connect it to our feed. So that works out perfectly. And our last component we need to bring down is glass. Yep. So it's going to come from all the way at the top. Here. Yep. No loaders. We're running out of everything. That goes there. Squeeze a balancer in right here. And then bring power down. Here they come. So that's all of our belt-fed components. Now we just need to puncture this down into the ground and bring it over to where our alumic acid is at. We're going to stick a rotation on this corner piece. It's going to go through here. This is already wide open, although we do need to dig some more. And let's just connect it straight up, I guess. And we can just fly around here. And this is our last connection from here to there. Boom. Oh, we didn't put any loaders on. Load from here. And from here. And from here. There we go. Our first energy cell in production. Let's get up nice and close to see it work. Whoa, it makes a whole bunch. It makes 12. Let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there. And okay, so it makes 6. So it takes 30 seconds and it makes 6 a pop. Gotcha. So that's 12 a minute. Nice. So we'll probably want to make more than 12 a minute, I'm guessing. Because this is going to then feed into our next assembly line, which is yellow science. And that takes circuit boards, which we have already, energy cells, which we have already, and thermalite sheets, which we have already. So everything we need is already on our bus. We just need to extend this a bit and then make a new line. So let's work on that next. Here we go. So now we get straight back to building. So 1, 2, and then ramp up. Stairs. Up. Okay, so now we have our starting line. So we are making yellow science, which has 3 inputs. So we're going to need 3 belts starting here. Right, and then here's our logistics container, 4, and then 2 more. I don't know if we're going to really need a logistics container for yellow science, since we're never going to have that much of a excess. But we follow the formula. 2, ramp, ramp. All right, and now we can put in our assembler, assembler 2, facing this way. You're going to be making yellow science, and you consume 4 energy cells, so 6 per minute. And one of these food assemblers is making 12 per minute, right? Yep, so we can produce 2 assemblers worth of yellow science. Output, output. We're gonna need more loaders. Might as well just get all kinds of loaders queued, because we'll never stop needing loaders. Alright, so now we're gonna need to bring our components down. So what are they again? Circuit boards, energy cells, and fermilite sheets. Okay, so all of those are going to need elevators, so we're gonna need a lot of elevators. Alright, so we have everything that we need at ground level. Now we just have to bring it onto our lines here. So this is just gonna go straight out, nothing fancy there. Set you to an output. This is going to have to... No, this one can go straight as well, because of how we lined the elevators up. Output, perfect. And then this is our only outlier. So you're gonna come from here. You're gonna go forward and then turn. Like so. Output. Beautiful. And then, oop. No. Just go straight like that. And we can do first, second, and where's our 3rd lane loaders? Here. Third. I actually have an extra lane here. And there they go. We're producing yellow science. That was quite the undertaking, but it was all worth it. So now, with yellow science, we're gonna have to pass this under our... No, first off, let's set this to an output. Boop. We have to pass this under our assembly line and then feed this back up this way. All the way to the Science Center. And because the back of these servers are already full with blue, red, and green science, we now have to start loading up the front. So each one of these is going to get a loader. And we're going to have new lanes coming in this direction. Can you stop? Just stay open. All right, and then we'll have to bring our ramps up here. And then just load straight through. Nothing too crazy, it's just going to be a lot more digging. So, let me get to digging, and when we get our yellow science finally in here, we'll finally be ready to start researching cargo shuttles to bring our xenoferrite in. So, let's get to it. And there it is, our yellow science, ready to be exploited. Which means we can now get cracking on our... Well, let's take a look. So we have 2 possible routes here. So we definitely need to get to underground mining, but we also definitely need to get to cargo shuttles. I think, well, underground mining is considerably less expensive, but cargo shuttles is going to solve a desperate issue that we have right now, and that is getting our xenoferrite from faraway locations back to our main assembly line. So as much as I'd like to go straight for the ore scanner upgrade, I think we're gonna have to go with cargo shuttles first. Which actually, oh, I've already got that queued up, so we're already at 2% of cargo shuttles. So we're going to let that run, and I have to go patch up some holes that I left while digging, and we will meet back up when Cargo Shuttles is ready to be built.
Cargo
Hey!
Shuttles,
Whoa.
your blueprint library is soaring beyond expectations. This is precisely the breakthrough technology we need to ship vast quantities of goods to faraway locations on the planet. I'm impressed. Our capacity for innovation is really taking flight.
That is exactly why I built them. So, let's see what we're going to need. 200 steel beams. Alright, so we need 300 technically because we need a start pad and a target pad. And we're also going to need to provide them with 300 watts of power. So we're going to also need to look into putting a solar plant out at our remote mining location. But for now, let's get the pads built. So we need to tap into our steel reserves, which are here. Let's give me them all. Alright, let's build a start pad and a target pad. And I did expand our area behind our silos to place our target pad for bringing in materials and loading them into the back of our silo. So I do want to quickly also put a couple of freight elevators in just so I know what the footprint of our silo is going to look like. We don't have to build it right now, I just need this to be here. And might as well just get this out of our inventory. Put a cap on it here, which is where the next logistics container is going to be. But now we know where our input's going to be, so let's look at what our target pad... Oh my god, it is humongous! I would never in a million years have guessed it's going to be even half this size. Oh my god! It's like the size of all of our base material production. Our entire smelting footprint. Okay, well, I got some digging to do. Wow. Alright, well, after an insane amount of digging, I think this should be big enough for our target platform here. Cargo shuttle target pad. Oh, I saw some green. Let's just make sure this is where the orientation that we want it in. Kind of hard to tell where exactly this is sitting. I hope it's sitting on the floor. It is, perfect. All right, and there's our export ports. Dude, this is huge. Look at this. Nice. And a staircase on the opposite side that goes to nowhere. Oh, we have output ports on all four sides. That's great. And here's our control panel. No incoming cargo ships. So hopefully we can reuse this for all of our types that we're going to be using here or bringing in here. So xenoferrite and technum and ignium and all the different types of materials we're going to be bringing into our assembly line here. So we'll call this assembly line station. Save. And then now we need to jet, well, before we jet over there, let's take a look at solar panels. It doesn't actually tell us how much power it produces. I guess we can just make one and we can plop it down here and see how many we're going to need to bring over to meet our 300 kilowatt energy consumption requirement. Oh, here we go. Max power generation, 300 kilowatts. So actually we'll probably need two because one is going to be used up completely by the launch pad or the cargo pad. So we'll need another solar panel to give us some overhead for the miners and all of the loaders and associated power drawing components that are going to be pulling off of that. So let's see how many extra energy cells we have built up now. I have so much dirt now. Oh my goodness. Get it out of here. I'm a dirty boy. Energy cells? No. Energy cells? Yes. Hell, just give me a whole bunch of them. Alright, so we can build one more solar panel now. So that should meet our energy needs, although we will probably need to research batteries as well, because once the sun goes down, we're no longer going to be producing power. Even with the day-night cycle turned off, you can see in the corner underneath the compass, there's a little icon that tells you that the solar panels will not work until 8 a.m. So we're graphically looking at the sun for our own benefit, but the sun is not actually out. So we're gonna fly on over. I wonder if we should pick up some jetpack fuel. We are getting kind of low. Pick up some jetpack fuel for the trip, and then we're gonna go over to our xenoferrite location. And we're going to do a bunch more digging to plop down another cargo platform. Here you are, manage inventory. Give me half of this. Let's get flying. It's so big and square. Okay. We have a platform out here at our remote location. It's not yet powered up. We should be able to at least place our platform down. We can look at that. I don't know if it's on the platform correctly. That looks about right there. Yes. Oh, it comes with a ship too. Look at that. That's cool. There's a little robot inside. He's ready to go. Is that a gun or a camera? At any rate, let's get this hooked up to power. Because I'm sure, yeah, there's no power. So we need to, let's replace our burner generator out here. With, let's see how big these solar panels are. Actually pretty tiny. We are going to need one more row here. 1, 2, 3, 4. For our two, where'd they go? Two solar panels. Wait, these are high power? No grid connection. Oh, poop. Do we have a power pole. Large. Uh-oh. Can we go from here? Make an artificial power pole here. Can we go from here to here? Actually, no. We need a transformer, don't we? Ah. There's no way I have enough materials for... Yep, we need xenoferrite plates. I can't build a smelter either. No! Alright. That means I have to fly back. Did you just take me back? Sir? Excuse me, sir. You appear to be alive and awake and ready to go. Oh, there's our ore mining. Fine, I'll fly myself back without you. Well, hang on. How much does the burner generator actually produce? 1.8 megawatts. Okay, well, that solves that issue then. Let's take our solar panels back for now. Slap our burner generator back down. Give it some juice. Rid of all this extra crap. And we're going to temporarily hook this up, I guess through here. We'll just go right along the edge of this pit. Boom. Now this should be powered up. Yep, I see a screen. So, we're straining our grid. I want you to take me back to, it said destination. Oh yeah, this is here. So, Northern Mining Station? Save? Takeoff conditions. Manage inventory. Okay, so we can put stuff in here. But how do we set up the routes to have them bring me back? Because I want to get rid of some stuff in here, get rid of some dirt, auto sort enough that I can take a full container here. Manage inventory. So let's put this all in here as much as we can. Takeoff conditions. Fill percentage. Apply. How do we tell it where to go, though? Destination name. Set destination. No valid target station found with configured name. Oh, set destination. Oh, we have to match like the actual string? It can't give us a list of existing destinations? Destination name was what? Assembly line station? Ah! No, you bastard, come back! You can't leave me here! I mean, clearly you can because you did, but damn it. He was so ready to go. He took off silently before I even turned around. And he left. Oh, no, that's the cargo that's in the ship. Okay. Pickup stations can only be loaded while the ship is docked. So we can't actually name this station. It's just called Cargo Ship Station. Okay. Well, I guess in the meantime, we'll slap a loader on this. And bring... We don't need these anymore. Let's just rip these up. We just need this to come straight down to our... down. To our platform here. Like this. And I guess we could just leave this here as a buffer. How do you want to do this? There. So we're gonna rip all this out of here. Into our platform. I'm not sure if it has an internal buffer. I mean, obviously the ship cargo is full. But I don't know. Presumably the platform itself is going to have some kind of buffer because it did stuff moved into it before it backed up. Can we see where our ship is on the... Not really. Okay, so we're going to head back. Maybe. You know what? I'm gonna wait. Oh, he's never gonna come back because I don't have anything on the other side to take that out of the ship. Okay, so we're gonna have to fly back manually. And as we're flying back, I am gonna stop. We pinged one telexite ore vein right here on our way over with the ore scanner. I thought it was gonna be these big guys here, but apparently that's something else. So we're going to divert from our straight back path and check out what this ore vein looks like. Okay, we should be getting close now. It's actually right inside this Arctic biome. It doesn't look like it comes all the way up to the surface. I don't see any surface features unless it's just buried under snow. So let's go ahead and do a scan right here. Oh, there it is. Yo! It goes all the way down. Look at that. Nope, come back. I want to see it again. Yeah, that just goes straight down to the bottom of the world. Look at that. I'm not sure we're even seeing the bottom of it. I think that's just the limit of our scanner's range. Oops, 2. Scan again. Oh yeah, it just keeps on going. So this, we cannot actually mine directly out of, so I don't know if this counts as telexite. So yeah, we cannot actually dig directly into this, so we need to expose the side of this. As I understand it, I'll read the help guide again. Yeah, so all those little nodes that show up on the exterior of it, we need to get down to. Let's go into our F1. Let's find ore vein mining. Ores can be found in small ore patches all over the moon, but for large quantities of ore, it's better to go look for ore veins. Ore veins are large connected pieces of terrain that expand from the depths up to the surface. They are rare, therefore, because of the limited range of the handheld scanner, it takes some time to find them if you explore on foot. On the map, they use a different icon compared to the regular ore patches. An easier way to find them is the use of the long-range scanner modular building, which has its own info database page in case you want further information on how it works. Mining setup. Ore veins have multiple spots where they are ore vein miner, where an ore vein miner, a building, can be attached. Use your handheld scanner to find all those spots. Once located, you need to dig or blast your way to those spots. Using the auto-digging elevator is advised to quickly get to the desired depths. Once you cleared enough space around the mineable spots, the ore vein miner needs to be positioned in a way so that the building can expand into the diggable parts of the ore vein. Once supplied with power, the miner will drill into the ore vein and create a tunnel while generating ore. After some time, the ore vein miner will hit the ore vein core, where it will stop mining. However, there is a way to convert an ore vein into an endless source of ore, using a fracking tower. To learn more about it, read its separate info database later after it is unlocked in Science Tier 5. Cool. So I don't actually know what we're going to be getting out of this. I guess we'll find out when we get down there, because it's just everything shows as telexite until it looks like you get here, and now this is actually ignium. So I guess we'll find out when we get to that point, but for right now we need to get back to the base and build some more, or build an export bus or an export line from our new shuttle pad. There's the ship waiting for unload. He never radioed in and said, "Boss, we got a problem." So this is where finally I understand what the actual purpose of these filter loaders is for. So let me go pick up some plates. We need those filter loaders to create separate lanes off of that pad, because we're going to reuse it for different types of materials, but we don't necessarily want all of the materials to go to all the different lines, right? We want to separate our output lines to go to separate places. So, my plates are over here. Pick up some of this. So I'm going to build one filter loader for now. That's all we're going to need until we start to bring in more different types of materials into this platform. But if we place, I guess we might as well take the outside most line here. So we're going to drop a filter loader here. And if we configure this, set filter items, so we only want this to export xenoferrite ore, rubble. Oh, there's a telexite ore rubble. Interesting. And then this is going to go right into our xenoferrite silo here. This is going to be our loader. Oh, I fell. So now this should finally solve our material woes, our xenoferrite woes. Let's see, can I chill with you here and take a ride back? Oh, it feels like it actually froze because I don't see the elevator running. What you got left in here? A lot. What's going on here? Why is the elevator stopped? Oh, I didn't put a container up here. That would be a pretty good reason. So I guess just build another one, or do I have one? I do. Actually have one right here. So put this here, and then we need to bring this up and around. Like like so. And then we need loader. Oh, just land. Can't get a good angle on that. Here to here. Output. And then I want this to go out the side. Each of these. This will be an output 9. I missed. And then down again. And into here. There we go. And then this should spiral. Power. This won't actually be used until we build another one above it, but this should continue to spiral down into the bottom here and continue to unload. Very nice. So this will slowly deplete or filter out into our xenoferrite silo here, and then when we eventually start loading other types of materials onto this, we'll put a different filter loader for each different type of rubble that we're going to export into our silos. Oh, there we go. I was just about to go and check on it. This thing has instant takeoff and it's completely silent. I wonder if that's like a still in production type thing. Like I would expect to hear some kind of engine noise. Whoa, this moves way faster than our jetpack. This is the way to travel. So I wonder what happens if we have multiple transports assigned to that one receive dock. Do they know to wait before taking off, or are they just gonna, like, if one's on the dock, is the second one gonna crash into it? It's too bad the render distance is so low. You really can't appreciate the view from here. We're too high up. There's too much atmosphere in the way. I'm gonna peek out the back. Ah! We fell! Come back! Oh, never mind. We're here already. See if I can fall faster than the ship. Yep. Oh, I almost got back in. Oh, well. Well, he took us most of the way there. 98% of the way there. And yeah, we're out of power again because the burner generator ran out of power, but we came prepared. So we're going to drop our two... Well, actually, we're going to go a little bit more now because we have to fit a transformer in here. So let's just make this a bit deeper. Like so, and we're going to slap down our solar panels facing this way this time. 1, 2, and then we're going to have a transformer, say... Do you do it here? Just to get all of our panels facing the same way. And then we're gonna need a power pole. We can put it here. Power pole, small. And then connect it all up with some power line. You to you. You to you. And then you to you. Apparently we are straining our grid. Why are we producing so little? Is it because the sun's going down? Yeah, we're only producing 288 when the maximum is supposed to be 300, but that's probably at like noon. So there's probably a power curve where as the morning goes on, you're producing more, and then as you pass noon, it starts to produce less and less, I would guess. Yeah, here we go, sun angle 122. So we'll actually probably need a bit more, but at least our our materials are moving. So what'll probably happen is that we'll only get one launch per day. 1 or 2 launches per day. Oh no, okay, so we're not producing the full amount, but it will charge a bit off of whatever juice is available from it. So we don't need it. It doesn't have to be at the full 300 watts of power for us to take off. So once that reaches 37, he'll be ready for another trip. We are going to have to wait for all of this to load. So I wonder at this point. I suppose we could help it along. Just get a quick ride back to the to our main base here. I just gotta be sure not to fill it up all the way, or he's going to instantly take off without us. So let's manage inventory. Let's add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we'll let the rest fill up automatically so that we have time to board. And assuming we get enough juice in the solar panels to keep the loaders running, we should be taking off any moment here. And here we go, we're off. Hey, and we're turning a profit again, I see up there. It'd be cool if there was some more advanced logistics you could set up with these, because from what I gather, if we wanted to then send something back to the base, like for example, if we had burner generators out there and I wanted to bring back xenoferrite ore and then have it load up on ignium ore to send back to run the burner generators, you'd have to have a separate set of platforms. You'd have to have a receive platform out there, out at the remote location to receive the ignium. You can't set up complex routes where it'll unload something, load something else, and then bring that back to the original location, as far as I know. And we're home. Thanks, Captain. Alright, so I'm going to manually load the rest of this into here. The stuff I brought back in my pockets. Auto sort. So now we are going to need to build... Now, I guess it depends on how thirsty our base is. Like, in between those two trips, it looks like it already sucked down all of the xenoferrite I brought. So we may actually run into a situation where we're going to need multiple platforms, because the inventory size on this cargo ship is actually pretty small. But for now, we're at least keeping xenoferrite flowing into the base. Okay, while we're waiting on things, let's check in on our space station again. And specifically, let's take a look at our galaxy map and see if we can do anything with our antenna upgrades that we got. So again, we're trying to get to Lunarix in order to sell them our mining drones. Go to parent sector, missing sector later. Okay, so we need to contact this sector first, unlock sector. And now we can chain off of that to this sector, unlock sector. So now let's take a look at Lunarix. Acquire trade license for 2.2k Fermolite. Acquiring a trade license allows you to start selling these products to this planet. Okay. So let's just check their neighbors. They're paying 336. They're paying 1056 per hour. Holy crap. All right. Yeah, well, we're doing that. So now... Oh, wait, I misunderstood. That's the demand. That's how many they want per hour, and they're paying 95. Okay, I misunderstood. So, can we not actually see what they're paying per unit? Or is that just they're willing to pay the market price for the bots? That's probably it. Max sales 2 per hour. Okay, so open supply route config. A ship needs to be assigned before you can configure cargo settings. Ship management. No cargo ships assigned, so we want to add a ship. Let's assign trade ship 001. Supply config. I don't know how many we're producing per hour, but we'll just say the maximum. I think. Because we're definitely not producing 528 per hour. Let's say 48 per hour, I guess. So let's go check on our drone production. Let's see exactly how many we're making. And then we'll know how many to tell the ship to take. No. The ship just came. Well, maybe we have to take those off of our standard market. Although I think it will prioritize our contracts, if you will. I think that's these, yes. So you're producing 3 per minute. You're producing 3 per minute, so that's 6 per minute. So that's 6 times 60. We're making, what, 60, 180... 360 per hour? I assume that's real world hour. So we can actually juice that up. Space station. So let's go to our sales platform. Let's take these off the market. Stop selling on sales platform. Go to our galactic, our galaxy map and to Soleus. Open supply route config. And we want to send, what do we have? 360? So let's do 384. I don't know if our ship could even carry that many. Liters of fuel needed per product. Fuel is automatically bought from the market at a fair price. Okay. Build a fuel depot on your station to supply ships with your own fuel. Oh, interesting. Set the amount of maximum cargoes to be sold per hour. In case of insufficient items in the station's inventory, less will be sold. Assign more cargo, blah, blah, blah. Cargo per hour is assigned in steps of 48 since sales are per in-game hour and are 48 in-game hours per real hour. So how is that calculated with or against the per minute production of assemblers? Our profit does look like it has increased a bit, although it's not like crazy different compared to what we were getting before. Finances, product categories, logistics, appliance, mining robots. Okay, so we have a demand of 1,056 per hour. We have a capacity to deliver them 384, and okay, we have sold 25 in the past hour. Okay, so we are at least getting drones to them. And then we stopped selling on the sales platform, and our storage, yep, it's going up and then going down as we sell them off. Production capacity 360 per hour out of 2. Okay, so we can, yeah, so we calculated it right. So we can produce 360 per hour, and our supply route can handle 384. So yeah, we are basically maxing out our capacity. Everything that gets made gets sold. Okay, well, we're gonna leave that like that for now. And let's take a look at what we just unlocked for mining, ore vein mining. Do we get a new thing? Flare sack, solar panels, general cargo shuttles, flare stack, solar panels. Nope. Okay, so this is going to be something that our scanner can pick up now. If we look at the tech tree, I'm sure it will tell us all about it. Let's go to scanning. Ore scanner unlocks ore scanning for technum ore, xenoferrite ore, ignium, and mineral rock ore veins. And then we have access to some other things here, assembly lines. Okay, that's all going to be for future episodes, but for now, we want to get out here and take a look at... Oh, they didn't even pick that up for us. So xenoferrite, we have 2 xenoferrites. This one has 14 drill points, this one has 9. We probably want to We're temporarily okay on xenoferrite until this node gets drained down, and this one is probably about twice as big, 2 to 3 times as large as our starting node. So I'm not too worried about xenoferrite for right now. We do, I guess, need to get a hold of this telluxite. I'm not sure what to do with it just yet. So let's see what we have to do to get mining set up for this. So the first thing we're gonna have to do is probably make some solar panels to actually start generating some power to do anything out here remotely without running a bunch of power lines. So we're gonna pop over here and probably dig out the ore vein, which I probably should have made some explosives before I came out here. Can we make those in the field before I get too far away from the base? So this is made from explosives, which is a component. Explosives are made from ignium and technum ore. Okay, so we do have to run back and grab some explosives in order to expose the vein. Although, if we can make an elevator, just a regular old elevator, which we can use those to excavate a large amount of, basically a vertical shaft straight down. So let's see if we can do that first before we go back and spend a bunch of extra time making explosives that we may not actually need. Okay, let's scan this. Oh yeah. And we probably want to start setting up not on the water side of this, although I guess we probably want to set up on the side that has the most nodes to get at. Looks like it might be this side. Oh yeah, nice and close right here. So we'll start digging down from here, which means we're going to need to set up some kind of platform here. But maybe we actually expose it first, just so that I have a visual indicator of where things are going to need to be. So we're not going to dig out, obviously, the whole side of this. We're just going to touch the vein. There we go. Okay, so we're going to start building a platform back from there. Say, well, I guess we don't really need to embed this in the ground. We can just put this on top of the ground. It'll save us a little digging. No. I changed my mind. I don't think I'm gonna like the way that looks. It's too tall. Okay. And then okay, so we're probably going to want to expose all the way out to like here, maybe, because we're going to have a pretty big open shaft here. I wonder if we should set up our power production, our solar panels, on top of the node. And then we can use the elevators to make a big hole here. So let me slap down some solar panels. Okay. There's two, and of course it's night now, so we're really not gonna get any energy out of this. And then a transformer. Power pole. Well, I wonder if we should just do a large one here. Oops, and I made it a small one. Oh god. They're 3x3. That's a big one. Okay, so we'll go from here to here, then from here to here to... Really? Why can't I do that? Destination power pole large is too far away. Max range is 10 meters. Object with shorter cable range has priority. Huh. Okay, well I guess we can use that to get power down here, but we're going to need a smaller pole behind each of these. 1, 2. And then from you to you. And then... No. And then from you to you. That. There we go. Current output 0. That makes sense, considering the time. Okay, so... Just want to fill this out a little more. So we have a little bit of power now. So let's see how much we're going to need to run an elevator to expose this stuff. We have all these components. Oh, no. I don't know why I'm trying to make 2. Definitely don't need 2. All right, so... Where is over here? This is our dig spot. So we're going to put this right here. Somehow wound up being the exact dimensions of an elevator. I promise you, I did not plan that. And hopefully this larger one has... The elevator is too far away. Max range is 15 meters. Huh. Well, what the heck is the point of the large power pole if it's just gonna have the same range as a small power pole? Oh well, I guess we'll make another small one. Okay, and then we're just gonna make this go as low as we can go. It's a temporary one. Let's just go as far down as we can go. 2. More veins are blocking the shaft. Those cannot be auto-mined. Indestructible terrain barks in the way. I know, I just want you to go down as far as you can. So do I just have to guess what depth it is at then? So if I go to like 100. So it'll go to 100. So we'll confirm that. We'll let it dig to 100. I guess it's telling us it's at depth of 93. I'm guessing. So we'll wait for this to finish. It's at 113 now. Okay, so let's configure this. Let's put temp at 93, which is, I think, what our reading is telling us here. 93. 95, 94, 93. Okay, so now if we delete this... We have a nice big shaft here. Phrasing. Yep, then we just gotta go this way. Now, this is where I could actually have used some explosives, but oh well, we'll just do a little hand digging here. And there. There's our fully exposed telexite, at least as much as we have shaft for. So now we have to figure out what we have to build here. We have to have some kind of mining robot that drills into this. So let's look at our build list here. So we have an ore vein miner, which we do have, just surprisingly inexpensive, but it does take 500 kilowatts of power. So we're going to have to up our solar panel count up top. So let's get this building and we'll see what the dimensions look like. Oh, okay, we need our shaft to be considerably, well, not too much larger. We just need to raise the ceiling a bit. So let me take care of that real quick. Looks like we need, what, 2 blocks? Okay. Okay, that's tall enough right there. And that is actually the power connector is just past the lip of our shaft, so that's perfect. Let's move this over, I guess, this way. I don't see anything on this side that we're going to need access to. It's just a bunch of knurling. So we'll put this as far forward as we can here. And then we can put wall-mounted power connectors up the shaft here. And then this is going to do something at this end. We'll find out. Oh, hey, whoa, we got the ultra high speed output here. Okay, so let's get back up top here. And then we need to have several of these power pole wall mounted. So let's build 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And at least one more solar panel, which I'm going to have to make some platform for. It's not necessary, but I like the way it looks. Here we go, and we see if I can just... Can we get rid of this and then just tie all of these into the same, like that. And then this goes into that. There we go. So right now, we're producing nothing. I guess we don't get any power at all until 8 a.m. Well, I thought. It still shows the sun's at 122 degrees, and we have no output. Oh, it's actually... If you have the day-night cycle turned off, it actually only tracks the sun in one location ever. So it does not continue to simulate the sun location when the day-night cycle is turned off. Interesting. Although we are... Oh, we have 0 output because we're not using any. I gotcha. I understand now. Okay, so we do need to just go ahead and build these right down the line here. So start at top, I suppose. Let's see, what line is this actually on? This one here. And we'll do here. And then we'll connect this up so we can see what our maximum distance is here. There we go. Oh. Mining status. Mining ore vein blocks towards core. This is a telexite ore vein. It's mined 23, 26. It's mining at 160. Once all the mineable ore has been mined, the ore vein miner may continue to mine endlessly at the ore vein core as long as a fracking tower is pumping fracking liquid into the vein. Interesting. Okay, so here's our inventories. Let's take a look. We can kind of see something spinning there. Nope, and here's our telexite. So now we're gonna need a freight elevator. bring this back up top, which we only have enough for one. No, I guess we'll get the bottom set up and then we'll come back and do the top. So why can I not? There we go. Hover. Yeah, let's line this up with the same profile as the mining robot. Now, is this whole thing gonna move forward? And if that happens, is that gonna disconnect our the power feed and the output here? Surely not. This probably just extends forward, I would imagine. Actually, we can't do that. We can't do that because we need 2 spaces. Well, we need 4 spaces here. We need a loader and another loader. So if we just mine out a bit here, like so, and then we drop our bottom piece in the hole here. When we get our top piece, this will automatically all be dug out for us, so we don't have to worry about it. So we'll just do, that is not what I wanted. This here, connect with a belt. This is gonna be an output. Yeah, we do need to bring some power down here. Like so. No loader needed. Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. There we go. And I guess right now we can just grab some off the belt and look at it. It doesn't seem like it's opened up a new help file for us. So I guess we'll have to figure out what this is actually used for on our own. So let me run back to the base, and I need some more. I guess I'm probably out of xenoferrite plates again. Yep, to build the other end of this elevator shaft, and then we'll get some power down here for the loader. And then we'll figure out what to do with this ore. All right, and now we're also going to need, while we're here, or while we're up top, let's look at what we need to make a battery, which are here. 20 technorods, 10 energy cells, nothing too crazy. It holds 250 millijoules. I don't know what that equates to as far as the production of a solar panel. But I guess let's put it on the opposite side from the solar panels themselves. So we'll do 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And then what is the footprint of the battery? They are 2 by 3. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Drop this here. And then we'll just do 1 for each solar panel, I guess? No grid. Okay, so they're also going to need their own high voltage connections. So build 1 here. And then continue on the sides here. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Make another battery. Wire them up. Up to the big pole. And they're charging. Okay. So this should be maxed out, right? Yeah. So everything they have is going into charging these batteries. Anything that's not being used by the miner, I guess. And then we can slap the top of our elevator on here. Maybe up 1. It's digging, and then we'll come out from there. And I guess for right now, we're just going to funnel it into a logistics container. But I don't actually know what this stuff is used for. I'm not seeing anything call for it. And then we need a logistics container, which is going to be asymmetrical, much to my chagrin. Where are they at? There it is. Okay. Logistics container here. A loader here. Right. We'll just connect this with a building block, not like that. Nope. Well, yeah, that's fine. Because then we'll just do this. Like so. To there. Okay. Now those are running. We just gotta drop down here and build a transformer. Let's say here in the corner. Transformer facing out. Wire you up to here. There we go. Now our telexite is going up. Let's get out of here. Oh yeah, output. There we go. And we've done it. We've brought telexite up to the surface. So let's go ahead and look forward in our tech tree and see if we can see what this stuff gets used for. Lava smelter, ferrite sheet, circuit board. Yep, nothing there. So I'm gonna guess it has to be something beyond underground mining, because we can't actually get it until we get underground, or underground mining. So CPU production, there we go. Telexite ore and liquid telexite into telexite ingots and telexite wafers. Good grief. Okay, well, I see where the final arc of the game is going. It's the telexite arc for producing CPUs, which we somehow are producing robots all the way up to this point in the tech tree without having CPUs. Even though we have, like, circuit boards. Although I guess circuit boards don't necessarily have central processing units, but okay. So that's going to give us access to the end game production of, I assume, these fully humanoid robots. Hydraulic piston, robot parts. I don't see anything that actually uses these though. So we're producing CPUs. And then the CPUs don't seem like they're used in anything, because you go to assembly lines. Shipping pads, so nothing in here. Painters, nothing in assembly lines uses CPUs. We've got minor aha, it's the heads. The heads get CPUs, okay. So what we are mining up here out of this vein is powdered robot heads, powdered robot brains. Got it. Okay, so yeah, I'm not going to be in a huge rush then to get this stuff, the transport of this stuff automated back to the base. If we need it, we can just come grab an inventory's worth. But I think this since this is the end game product here, this will be definitely stuff for the next episode. So I think we're looking pretty good for this episode. We hit all the checkpoints that I wanted to hit. We got our assembly line cleaned up and all of our smelting put at the beginning of the assembly line. We got our xenoferrite ore scarcity taken care of, so we're back up and running with iron. We got the production of energy cells, yellow science, solar panels, and batteries all taken care of, and we got access to underground mining and set up our first test underground mining drill setup, our underground mine, if you will. So I think that's everything that I wanted to hit in this episode, and that's where we're going to call it for this one. So if you've been enjoying this playthrough of Foundry, hit like and subscribe. If you want to check out Foundry for yourself, and we are out of power because it's nighttime, go head on over to Steam and pick it up. And if you want to let me know what you think of the playthrough so far, then hit the comments down below. But whatever you do, I will see you right here again in the next one. So until then, bye-bye.